up next is When I Arrived at the Castle by Emily Carroll, who's the same person that did Through the Woods. Through the Woods is one that I'd argue you could share with children past a certain age. I don't think I would read it to a 4-year-old. There is some blood and death and stuff in it, but you know, there's nothing, I don't think you actually see anybody get ripped completely in half. There's no, nudity, really. This one is somewhat of a vampire story, and true to form, there is something of a slight sensual element to it, and some visuals that you might not want to share with your kids. But it's a very good... well, how to put it? It's a somewhat enigmatic story. There might be certain things that you get to the end and you're like, wait a second. And then you go back and read it through and mostly you've pieced it together, but there might still be one or two things that you're like, I don't quite know what this is meant, or what this means. So if you like everything tied up super nice and neat, you probably won't enjoy it as much as her other work, and her other, as much as Through the Woods. But this one has some... I'm trying to think what I can show you that isn't insanely spoilery. What are you doing? Shinji! Callie, it's you. What are you doing? We've been making all kinds of noises. And there's some interesting visuals. I'm sorry, I know, that's just my assessment of everything. Interesting visuals! Interesting visuals! What about this one? It has interesting visuals. Sorry. Anyway, if you like everything perfectly explained all the time, you might not enjoy that one as much. But I gotta say, and see, this one I did read just sitting on this couch and not anywhere else, and it still gave me a few of those vibes that I got reading Through the Woods, so I think it just is her work. It's a shorter one and it's interesting, so I'd check out Through the Woods first, because in a lot of ways I think that's Emily Carroll at her best, in the sense that it has all of the best elements of her work, and none of the, I guess you could say, drawbacks or things that don't have quite the same level of appeal that might kind of leave some people scratching their heads or something. So yeah, I would start with Through the Woods as an introduction to her stuff, and then if you want to go further, I would check out... She does have free comics on her website, but my concern is that you would read those and then be like, well, I didn't fully follow everything, or this was a little more body horror-esque than I was looking for, and then you would end up avoiding Through the Woods, which is a genuinely wonderful collection. And even the stuff on her website, though, is good, and I do recommend checking it out. And I will say that she manages, even if something is visually difficult with her stuff, it still does not make me cringe the way that other guy did. Like, to where I'm like, I don't know if I recommend his stuff. Kago. I think... yeah, Shintaro Kago. Also, I will say, as far as the comics on her Emily Carroll's website, they are interesting in a way that simply can't be done with something like this or Through the Woods, because of the way that websites are structured versus a print book. As an example, she has a story on here, and I'll throw up an image if I can. This is, first he gave me flowers, and second I made her a doll, but third he'd been gone for hours, and fourth we hit a wall. Lastly there was blood, rich and raw in the light of the moon. I can't forget, I will always regret what happened in Margot's room. yeah, this one, you can click them in whatever order you want, but you can click on the flowers that he gave her. You can click on the doll that she made her. And you can, like, click on the different things that were, like, mentioned in that one little bit of poem. And by clicking on each thing, it will give you a piece of the story. And you can go through that. And I just found that really interesting. And she did a similar thing with the Worthington, which had, like, 6 doors, and it's kind of like a hotel, and you can click on each door and get, like, a little piece of the story. I really enjoyed that, because it was kind of in between a comic and a video game or something, and it was just more interactive, and it was very fun. So she does some interesting things with that. So I do recommend checking out Emily Carroll's stuff in general. Again, there's some of it that's free, same with Crystal Yates. There's nothing to lose, go check them out. Last up is Fragments of Horror by Junji Ito, which on the same free comic day that I got the first issue of Sabrina, I got a comic that contained one of the stories in this volume. So that was a fun that was a fun year, because it's right around Halloween. Got some free Halloween comics basically, and that was really fun. You can probably blame it for me making this video. I will say a lot of Ito's sense of humor comes out in this. Just the first page of the first story. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's a woman crashed over a futon with a blanket pulled down over someone. And she says, she's narrating, she says, "The man I eloped with and currently live with is terrified of something and he won't come out from under the futon." And the fact that he just starts the story that way, I'm like, oh, you know, I was laughing before, you know, on the first page. He draws some weird stuff. I like it. And I like it because it's weird, but it doesn't leave me so visually disturbed by it that I don't want to engage with it anymore. We'll say some of the stories are more funny than scary. I remember one of them, which, the third story. One of the stories, one that I got for free before I got this. It affected me a lot more at the time, but that could have been the mood I was in and the fact that you're reading it for the first time. It kind of had you worried a bit, because I'll just tell you what happened in the first little chunk of the story. This guy went to, like, cheat on his girlfriend because he sucks at life, I guess, and then turns out the person he was gonna cheat with, like, it's literally within, like, a couple panels of this person being introduced, okay? It turns out she's actually this, like, demon that collects heads. So she, like, put a strand of her hair out and pulled it on his neck, and he started freaking out, thinking he was choking, you know, obviously, and broke it and ran away. And he looked fine, other than there just being a slight mark. But with time, the mark actually seemed to become like a cut, and you could see blood. And, you know, bit by bit he realizes, like, no, this is just, it's slow, it's getting there slowly, but it's literally cutting my head off. And I have to stand here like this and hold it up, because if it slides even a little bit, then my head will just fall off and I'll die. And so that was, I like that one. Just because it's interesting. Because we would all be fearful in that situation, obviously. And then, gosh, what was the name of that one? Blackbird. I think that one was actually legitimately scary. The rest of them are degrees of humor and scary, and either way, it's a fun, I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. Probably more than Go in some respects. Anyway, this video's gone on for way too long. Here they are again. Check out what you want to check out. I feel kind of bad because some of them weren't as much my cup of tea, but they might be your cup of tea. So there's something about the visuals or the story that stuck out at you, even though I wasn't enthused. Still check them out. And remember that there's some, Crystal Yates and Emily Carroll have free stuff on their website, so no reason to not check them out. So have a good day. I don't know what else to say. Bye.